In North America, we see a horse show performance starring a beautiful woman named Mila. She's accompanied by her husband, Jim, and their young daughter, Lucky. The three of them sit among the audience, watching Mila perform with her horse. Jim looks very proud of his wife's performance, while Lucky eagerly eats strawberries from a bowl in front of her. We learn she absolutely loves strawberries. Then, Mila attempts a risky stunt on her horse. But sadly, she falls and dies right in front of her husband and daughter. Jim is devastated by Mila's death. From that moment, he becomes deeply traumatized by horses and grows to hate them. Unable to raise Lucky on his own, he entrusts her upbringing to his sister Cora and his father, James. Jim moves back to his old home, cutting all ties with his daughter, and returns to work on the railroads, wanting to live independently from his father's influence. Years pass, and Lucky grows up in her grandfather James's house. By the time she turns 10, she's still living there, lonely, having lost her mother and been abandoned by her father. One day we see Lucky playing with a small squirrel in her room when Aunt Cora walks in. She tells Lucky to stop playing and focus on her physics studies. We also learn that Grandpa James is running for mayor of the town. Cora explains to Lucky that she needs to behave and appear presentable in front of the public to help James win the election. Lucky then confides in Cora, saying she's extremely bored because she has no friends and never leaves the house. She questions the point of studying physics, like calculating train speeds and distances, and insists that all the information she's learning seems pointless. Despite her doubts, Lucky continues studying. Just then, Grandpa James walks in and asks Cora to help him with his tie as he's expecting an important delegation of officials, journalists, and photographers who are coming to interview him. James explains to Cora that they'll be asking about his campaign and personal life, but he's worried Lucky might ruin the meeting and embarrass him. Cora reassures him that Lucky will behave and promises she won't cause any trouble. James and Cora leave the room. The squirrel returns, and Lucky tries to catch it again. The squirrel runs wild around the room, then jumps from the upper floor to the lower level. Lucky chases after it. Meanwhile, James is at the front door welcoming the delegation. As they enter the house, they're shocked to see Lucky hanging upside down from a rope tied to the ceiling. A large picture frame falls on her, knocking down a portrait of Grandpa James. Suddenly, the squirrel leaps onto James's face, and the photographers quickly snap pictures of the whole scene. The image is published on the front page of the newspaper. Embarrassed and angry, James decides to send Lucky to live with her father, Jim. So, Cora and Lucky board a train to go meet him. On the train, Cora is reading the newspaper, while Lucky looks very upset. She's being sent back to the father who abandoned her. She tells Cora that Jim never once asked about her in all the 6 years they were apart. She feels like her grandfather is punishing her by sending her back. Cora tries to comfort her, saying they're only going to stay with Jim for the summer until the election is over, and that he had no choice but to leave her back then. It wasn't just Jim's decision, but one made by the whole family. Still, Lucky refuses to believe it. She's convinced her father intentionally abandoned her. A little while later, Cora leaves to get a drink from the station. Lucky opens the train window and sees a rare and stunning wild horse running alongside the train, leading a herd of wild horses behind it. She's completely mesmerized, and it stirs something inside her. A deep connection to horses she inherited from her mother, Mila. Lucky leaves her compartment and starts moving from one train car to another, trying to keep up with the horse and its herd, which is now ahead of the train. Cora returns and panics when she notices Lucky is missing. She spots her from the train window, walking dangerously along the outer edge of the train. Cora rushes to the back of the train to try and save her. Meanwhile, Lucky reaches the last train car and watches the horse and its herd in awe. The horse approaches her, and she reaches out to touch it, but suddenly loses her balance and nearly falls. At the last second, a stranger named Hendrix appears and saves her. Hendrix tells Lucky that wild horses are very dangerous. Cora then arrives, thanks him for saving Lucky, and takes her back to their compartment. Shortly after, the train arrives at the station, and Lucky looks visibly upset. Her father didn't even bother to come and greet them. Meanwhile, we see Hendrix disembarking with his gang.